High green revolutionaries, it looks like humans have still not learnt to live like a civilized species on this planet, with shared values of social justice, human dignity, peace and prosperity. We are seeing war after war. War in Ukraine is still claiming hundreds of lives every day, and Hamas has made an unprecedented horrific attack on Israel from the Gaza Strip. The graphic images are circulating on the web and war cries are evident in tens of millions of posts on social media from supporters of both sides.
Israeli government has declared war on Gaza Strip and have started air raids on Gaza. The fears are even larger as this conflict escalates. The world is likely to see another wave of mass destruction and casualties on both sides, followed by waves of refugees and humanitarian crisis. Till now, the bombing of Gaza has started and Israeli military is preparing for an all-out ground operation. Hamas fighters and supporters are also threatening to open new fronts. U.S. has already moved its aircraft carrier near Israel's shore in East Mediterranean. Arab world, Russia and Turkey has called for de-escalation of the situation and resolution on Palestinian conflict as per United Nations resolutions, whereas Iran has declared full support for Hamas and its ally.
The Palestine-Israeli conflict is one of the longest and most complex conflicts in the world. It has its roots in the displacement of Palestinians in 1948, when Israel was established, and the Israeli occupation of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in 1967. Some of the major milestones in the Palestine-Israeli conflict are: 1948, Israel is established and hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are displaced from their homes. 1967, Israel occupies the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in the Six-Day War. 1987, the First Intifada begins, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. 1993, the Oslo Accords are signed, establishing a framework for a two-state solution to the Palestine-Israeli conflict. 2005, Israel withdraws its settlers and military from the Gaza Strip, but maintains a blockade of the territory. 2007, Hamas takes control of the Gaza Strip in a coup. 2008 to 2009, Israel launches a major offensive against the Gaza Strip in Operation Cast Lead. 2012, Israel launches Operation Pillar of Defense against the Gaza Strip. 2014, Israel and Hamas fight a 50-day war in the Gaza Strip. 2018, the Great March of Return begins, a series of protests on the Gaza-Israel border. 2021, Israel and Hamas fight an 11-day war in the Gaza Strip.
Over a long period of time, the Palestine-Israeli conflict has caused a humanitarian crisis in West Bank and Gaza Strip. The blockade of Gaza Strip after it was taken over by Hamas has restricted the flow of goods and people into and out of the territory, leading to widespread poverty and unemployment. The blockade has also made it difficult for people to access healthcare and education. In addition, the repeated cycles of violence in the Gaza Strip have caused widespread damage to infrastructure and homes. As a result, millions of people in the Gaza Strip live in poverty and without access to basic necessities. This collective punishment has exposed youth of Gaza to believe in extreme views, and it has become counterproductive for any peaceful solution and mutual understanding.
Palestine-Israeli conflict is a complex and challenging issue, but it is important to remember that the people of the Israel, Gaza Strip and the West Bank are the ones who suffer the most. The blockade and the repeated cycles of violence have caused a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. Jobless and angry youth are easy prey to extremist organizations, and illegal new settlements have made life tougher for Palestinians in the West Bank. Now the extreme positions by Israeli government and Palestinians has made peace more and more difficult.
A peaceful resolution to the Palestine-Israeli conflict is essential for the well-being of the people of Israel, Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Both sides need to make compromises and work together to find a solution that is fair and just to both Israelis and Palestinians. Now we will touch upon the perspectives of Israelis, Palestinians, Hamas, Fatah, and the international community. Many Israelis believe that the blockade is necessary to prevent Hamas from smuggling weapons into the Gaza Strip. They also believe that Israel has the right to defend itself from rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip, and government supports new Israeli settlements in West Bank. Many Palestinians believe that the blockade is illegal and collective punishment. They argue that the blockade has caused a humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip and new settlements have made life difficult for Palestinians in the West Bank. Palestinians also believe that they have the right to resist Israeli occupation. Hamas is a Palestinian militant group that controls the Gaza Strip. Hamas is committed to the destruction of Israel and the establishment of an Islamic State in its place. Fatah is a Palestinian political party that is the dominant party in the Palestinian Authority. Fatah is committed to a two-state solution to the Palestine-Israeli conflict. The United States and European Union have condemned the Hamas attacks on Israel, while Russia and Turkey have called for an immediate ceasefire. And Iran has extended its support to Hamas. Saudi Arabia, Qatar say Israeli policies of blockade and deprivation lead to escalation of situation. The international community has also called on both sides to end the violence and work towards a peaceful resolution to the conflict.
Palestine-Israeli conflict is a complex and tragic issue. There is no easy solution, but it is important to understand the history of the conflict and the different perspectives involved in order to find a peaceful resolution. Both Palestinians and Israelis need to understand that hatred and killing each other will never bring peace and prosperity to their generations. Killing each other will never lead to any sustainable peace in the region. Even if the Gaza Strip is completely razed to the ground by heavy bombardment, it will cultivate more and more extremism and violence in the region, which is neither in interests of Jews, Muslims, or any people in the world.
We must all work together to support a lasting peaceful solution for this conflict. We wish and pray that people from both sides should be allowed to have mutual argument directly without extremist views of demonizing each other. To find a mutually acceptable solution ensuring an environment where both Palestinians and Israelis can prosper as independent neighbors. This will ensure a better future for the people of the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and Israel. We must push our leaders to find a peaceful solution to the conflict based on our shared values of human equality, justice, and freedom. This looks extremely difficult and will be opposed by warmongers, but we need to believe that given a chance, majority of people just want to have a peaceful life for them and their families with dignity and freedom. In 2023, thanks to human interconnectivity, we must bridge our gaps and so no to wars, loud and clear. We must also support humanitarian organizations that are working for a lasting peace, as wars only bring destruction and misery to humanity and planet. This beautiful blue planet is our shared home. Instead of killing each other for our differences, resources, and personal and national egos, we should push our generations for a universal brotherhood, sharing of resources with peace and happiness. Maybe it's a dream, but nothing happens unless a dream